What is going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of Nuggets Today. I'm Tom Leuthner. Let's hop into a few topics here. So, I got the chance to finally go back and listen to the presser with Josh Kroenke, not Stanley Kroenke. That is the former owner. I believe his father, actually, which I did say last episode because I heard some of it. But I'm going to get into what I finally was able to go back and listen to. And that is some things that I think were good to hear, some that weren't so good to hear. The ones I want to cover, obviously, what's good to hear. Obviously, the things that weren't good to hear were basically him just saying that Denver lost, game 7 by losing games 3 and 4, 4 and 5, whatever he had said. But one of the things I want to get into, he said the majority of the problems are internal, which I think is sort of a good thing, not a great thing to hear. Obviously, that's probably on the worst side, but it's the first thing I want to cover. That means that there were so many problems within the last few years since we've won the championship that I think probably stemmed from Calvin Booth and Mike Malone's drama, which is, again, like I said, is not a great thing to hear, but it's something that he believes he can fix, which is way better to hear. So I am glad to hear that, but that's not the biggest problem to me. He said he needs to be more hands-on, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that he was able to own up to the fact that he wasn't more hands-on and that he thinks he needs to be in order for this team to be successful, which I fully agree with. He said that even during the championship run, he wasn't as hands-on as he should have been, and I think that's what led to what I just said, the outbreak between Malone and Booth, strictly because if somebody's not there to break everything up when drama like that is happening between grown men, then there's going to be a problem internally, and now we saw what the problem internally had led to, and that was that Calvin Booth's ego was too big, and I don't know if he was trying to sabotage the Nuggets or what he was doing, but everything was sign these guys long-term, even if they seemed like they didn't deserve it when they got the money, and then he's gone. So we're in a very bad position because of Booth, not because of Kroenke, but I would have appreciated Kroenke stepping in earlier, obviously. The biggest statement or the biggest point that he had made was that he, quote unquote, I'm not even going to air quotes it, quote unquote said, I heard Jokic's comment loud and clear about Jokic not having a bench. There's another big topic that another big comment I want to get into later on in the episode, but him saying that is massive because now he knows that regardless of who our new GM is, they are going to make moves. Hopefully, this is all hopefully, that to help the team out and get Jokic what he needs, and that is a bench. That is somebody who could give him extra minutes. That may be internal, where again, like I said last episode, they can get some fresh legs and develop some players, but at the same time, it seems as if he wants to build a team around Jokic and give Jokic a good bench, and that is the next topic I'm hopping into here. And is there a new target player for Denver? I think there is, because all the outlets and all the media posts are that Denver is now interested in Ty Jerome, backup point guard for Cleveland. I think he's awesome. I mean, again, he's a former New York guy. I'm from New York, so I love it. He's a great shooter. I know that he sort of went down and got scared a little bit in the playoffs, but again, I believe that was his first playoff series where he was getting minutes. I know that he was on Golden State, but he wasn't really playing over there. I think that he's actually a good player. I think he's what Denver needs off the bench. I think he is a shooting point guard, which is what Denver needs. We saw that Monte Morris was thriving in Denver, and he's not doing anything since. Bones Highland was awesome in Denver. He's not doing anything since. I think that Ty Jerome is a backup point guard that Denver needs. He was averaging on this year, and I believe 19.9 minutes was the exact minute. I know that it was around 19, 20 minutes per game, 12.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists per game. That is good. He's younger. He's on the younger side, which is awesome. That's what Denver needs. They need younger guys to develop around. The only thing is that he is expected to get 12 mil a year. They said anywhere from 12 to 14 mil a year. That is doable if Jokic is able to move Michael Porter Jr. or Jamal Murray's contract. Do I want to move Jamal Murray's contract for Ty Jerome? Sure. Do I want to move Jamal Murray for Ty Jerome? No. That's not what I want to move. I think I covered either an episode or 2 episodes ago. I think Denver should look into possibly trading MPJ to Golden State, getting maybe if they can Trace Jackson Davis or Quentin Post along with Kuminga, one of the two and Kuminga. And if they're able to bring in Ty Jerome, now not only does your roster look good, but your future looks good because now you have younger players who are able to play around Jokic while he's aging, and then you have those guys once Jokic is gone. And again, I think that there are some good guys if you're able to develop them, like PJ Hall. I think Julian Strawther is awesome. I think Christian Brown's amazing. Watson is good. I don't think that Watson's where he should have been or what he was projected to be for Denver, but I also think that a guy like Trey Alexander might be good. Another guy I covered a few episodes ago. I think that Ty Jerome is more valuable than Westbrook rather. I think that he is way better than what Westbrook is now. Maybe he doesn't bring that intensity that Westbrook brings to the table, but he brings the skill. He brings the lack of turnovers. That's what Denver needs. I think what Denver also needs a bench. Maybe players help him on the bench. And that is its next topic is there going to be a reunion with Bruce Brown in Denver? A guy who I would love to see. And obviously I'm reading up. He had posted the David Adelman signing on his story. He posted a picture with a Colorado Avalanche hat on. So will we see Bruce Brown back in Denver? I think that he wants to be there. During the playoffs, he reposted a picture of the Nuggets on X and said, man, I miss playoff basketball. Why repost a picture of the Nuggets if you could be on any other team right now? I think that if he comes in, Denver needs to sign him on a vet minimum in order to bring in other players to play for them. Because if they don't, then it's not worth it to bring him in because he is aging. He's not too old, obviously, but he is injury prone, as we've seen. He missed majority of the season, I believe, this past season. He hasn't been great since Denver let go of him, but at the same time, if Denver brings him in on a vet minimum, is able to maybe trade Porter Jr. for some player fillers or some roster fillers, rather, and they're able to sign a guy like Ty Jerome, I think they're right back in the conversation for being a championship team. I think they're right there again for being a championship team. Hopefully one of the younger bigs steps up if they're not able to move Najee's contract and he gets minutes, or if Hunter Tyson comes in, plays the 3 and 4, or if PJ Hall, like I said last episode, and Deron Holmes are as good as they're supposed to be. Why not have Denver, obviously again, our GM he's not announced yet when this episode's going to air, or when I'm making this episode rather, but if they're able to bring in people on smarter contracts, why not build a great team around Jokic again? All they need is role players that can fill the bench roles, that can do their job to the highest extent possible. We see it in OKC. We see Isaiah Joe, Cason Wallace, Aaron Wiggins coming in hitting threes. We see Kenrich Williams coming in playing defense, hitting threes. Those are guys that play their role to the max, and that is what Denver needs on their bench. I'm not saying they need another superstar. I'm not saying you have to go out there and get Zach LaVine. I'm saying maybe bringing a guy like Kuminga in a Porter Jr. trade. Maybe bringing guys like Herter and Zach Collins in a Porter Jr. trade. Go out there and sign Bruce. Go out there and sign Ty Jerome. And I think that you have a championship roster again if your players develop with that. The other thing is the draft, and that's this last topic. The draft talk. There's some noise around what Denver will do strictly because of the Kroenke presser. He had mentioned that he knows that we don't have a pick. He knows that Denver does not have a pick in this year's draft at all. We're the only team without a pick at all. But he said that he will be actively attempting to make anything happen. I don't care if Denver gets a late first rounder. I think that makes everything better. If you're able to trade Porter Jr. for a late first rounder, if there's still guys there who could help you out, and a very valuable role player, then do it to drop his contract. I don't want to see Murray in a trade like that. The only way I want to see Murray traded, and I've been saying this, is if it is possible to get a player of his caliber or better, which isn't going to happen because of his contract. That is the only way it's possible, in my opinion. But at the same time, if you're able to move Najee for a late first rounder, if you're able to move MPJ for a valuable role player in a late first rounder, if Sarge takes his option, or you want to sign and trade Sarge and Russ for a valuable late pick, then do it. We need a pick this year. Denver needs a pick. They are fine at drafting at the end of the draft. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with, again, like I said last episode or 2 episodes ago, trading Porter Jr., trying to get up to 10 and maybe take Liam McNeely, a guy who fits the same role, who's younger, not as injury prone. That's what Denver needs to do, and I am very hopeful with the Kroenke presser and the news that's been coming out. Hopefully there's more news and there's more topics to cover on players that Denver's interested in, but that's all I got for you guys today. I will see you guys in another episode tomorrow, and I'll catch you guys later.